Welcome to the first ever Robbie RBV 25 show. So, what is this show about? Why am I here? And who, for God's sakes, could watch the show? Find out these answers and more in the next 25 minutes. All right, first, what is the show about? Hey, we're going to have some fun here. I don't want to sit here and, be depressing and all that crap. I mean, what's the point of that? We tune in here to have a good time. So, tonight's topics, you know, first, we're going to talk about the dope of the days. We're going to talk about the people who deserve the dope of the days and why, and we're going to lay out cases for them. In both of these cases, I feel that these people are well-deserved dope of the days. We're going to talk about college football picks week 0. I know it's week 0, but how technically is that a week? But it's college football. It's week 0, so we're going to dive into that. We're going to preview Notre Dame USC. We're going to preview Hawaii versus Vandy, and we're also going to preview USC versus like San Jose State or San Jose. We'll get to that. And then we'll also talk about a second dope. We're going to have 2 dope of the day segments. A second dope of the day, another well-deserving person, because who gets caught using their father's FanDuel account to gamble, and then gets suspended from their job. Tune in. And then we'll talk about an NFL news fantasy talk, such as, Zay Flowers and why he should be on your team. And what the hell are the Colts doing? They got freaking running back holdouts and Jonathan Taylor. They're not protecting Anthony Richardson. And then, the Philadelphia Eagles are just fucking going ham, in training camp. What exactly is that franchise doing? Now, then we're going to get into the MVPs. And finally, some general news. All right, so let's get into our first topic here, which is the Dope of the Day Award. Now, if I told you that our Dope of the Day Award freaking got into a car accident without a license, her license was suspended for 10 years, she was driving 53 miles an hour in a 25 mile an hour zone, she had a freaking disabled kid in the back who wasn't strapped in properly, and, her lawyer tried to get her case dismissed by freaking saying she wasn't properly cited, you probably would think they're the dope of the day. And you're damn right. Now, what if I told you that Boston City Councilor freaking, Kendra Lara pulled this tomfoolery off? She was doing 53 miles an hour on a 25. She veered off the road, hit a house foundation, and then she thinks that, it's a smooth move to not drive with a freaking, driver's license. I mean, I have a driver's license. How hard can it be, ladies and gentlemen, to get a freaking, driver's license? It ain't that hard. You go to Quincy, you go to the, Armory in Quincy, you get it, Some cop tells you to back up, you back up. It tells you to take a couple turns, easily passable. So, what the heck is going on? So, Kendra Lara, ladies and gentlemen, is dope of the day. She's dope of the day for getting in the accident, wrecking some foundation, and then she's dope of the day for not resigning from the Boston City Council. I mean, if I was driving without a license, I mean, what the hell is the point of that? Try obeying the law. Be a good citizen like Robbie V. It's unacceptable situations in this life. And then her lawyer. Well, he's also dope of the day. He tried to get the case dismissed, by saying she wasn't properly cited. Well, if you're paying $400 an hour for that fucking crackerjack legal advice, I have no idea. First of all, what you're doing with your money. You're better off spending it on some Keno game. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully she gets it together. We can only hope. All right, moving on. This is who doesn't love the start of college football? Personally, I did look at the week 0 games, and I thought of the people. I didn't think for 1 minute that anyone wanted to preview New Mexico versus UMass. To be frank, you're only betting on that game if you're number one, Bookie Bruno about $5,000 and you're desperate to gamble. Or, you had 10 Captain Cokes before the game and you think this is a good drunken idea. So we're not going to go into that. All right, first up, Notre Dame versus Navy. Notre Dame's bringing in a new QB this year from Wake Forest. Navy had a 4-8. I think it was a 4-8 record last year. Do I really think? In the line, I believe right now is 20.5. according to DraftKings. At least it was at this broadcast. Now, do I really think that this is a game that you should play the point spread? No, absolutely not. I mean, first of all, they're in Ireland. So I mean, those kids can get in a lot of trouble over there. I mean, they're really going to be at 100%. When they look at things, probably, and take the field in Dublin, probably not. Maybe they went out to the Dublin pub. Maybe they had maybe they just ran around like hooligans all night and, said, screw you to check in. I don't know. Number two, I think Navy has a good rushing attack. And basically, the Notre Dame defensive line is pretty young. So do I really think they can cover 21 points? No. So what's the play here, Robbie V? What are you suggesting? Well, I think you should take the under on the total, which is 50.5 points as of this broadcast, or as of Tuesday, whenever this gets broadcasted. Well, you got to roll with me, folks. So basically, you take the under for these two reasons. These two teams are the slowest freaking teams in college football. They're both in the top. They're both in between 100. I think one of them's 105 and 120 for pace of play. Basically, the freaking turtle with a pulled hamstring is playing faster than these clowns. And also, 2 plays last year were due to turnovers inside the 20-yard line. So the point total was up. Robbie V says take the under for this game. I think it's 50.5. I'll check that as soon as this broadcast. Well, I'll check it right now, because you got to bring some credibility to the program. All right, number 2 game is Hawaii versus Vanderbilt. So why in God's name am I previewing this game? Well, it's week 0 for college football, folks. We gotta take the cards we're dealt with. Number 2. So who do I like in this game? Now, Vanderbilt had a great quarterback last year. Forget his name, but basically, he's graduated. He's gone. Their running back's gone. He's got a freaking, he's got a goddamn, freshman starting running back. So what are we doing here? That isn't good. Now, Hawaii, on the other hand, got a bunch of underclassmen, got a lot of experience. They're bringing back a lot of players. They got some transfer wide receivers, and the line's plus 17. Now, Hawaii was a joke in the first 3 games last year. It was pretty awful. And they got blown out to Vandy by 63-10. But Hawaii turned it around. And Robbie V foresees them covering the 17-point spread. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But if you're taking a betting advice from a guy who, like Robbie V, well, I got to earn your trust. So, be wise. All right. The last game I'm going to cover here today is, USC versus San Jose. All right. Now, we all know about Caleb Williams. The guy's the man. We all know Lincoln Riley. I mean, this offense is going to, they're going to freaking spread it out. They're going to be wide open. We all know that. But what we don't know is the USC defense right now. And USC right now is sitting at a 31.5 point favorite, according to DraftKings. Now I know for a fact. So it's a lot of points. But with a defense as bad as USC's, who knows? I mean, they're bringing in transfers from Arizona and other schools. It's a new system. In San Jose, they're returning all 5 of their offensive linemen. They're all coming back. The quarterback's coming back, and I'll tell you, and the top 2 wide receivers are injured right now, but the top one especially. But the second one, he might play. But USC had a hell of a time stopping the run, and that's what freaking San Jose does best. If there's one thing I would take on this game, I can't tell you to take USC with the spread. I think that's a tomfoolery move, and I don't like it. What do I like? I like taking the point total on the over. That to me is the value play, because the USC offense is going to score no matter what. San Jose's defense is only returning 52% of their production. But that USC defense is going to get garbage time. USC is going to run up freaking, plenty of points. And then, and they'll hit the over. And I'm looking it up right now, folks, because, I think the over for that game is, let's see. The over for that game is, oh no. One sec. I'll probably edit this out. The over for that game is 64 points. And I think that this game is going to be the deserving. This call right here is going to be deserving of the Robbie V lock of the week. Take it over 64 points. You can get it at your local Chuckles or DraftKings or whatever. All right. And now, moving on to the next topic, which is, I get my notes here. This ain't easy. We're going to cover two things. Michigan quarterback. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh got suspended for 3 games. Yeah, this suspension is just nothing, honestly, because they're playing freaking Bowling Green, UNLV, and East Carolina. If they can't beat those teams without East Carolina, please, it's not going to be good for them. I think he broke COVID protocols. I think we all know that. That program, Harbaugh's definitely a little bit of a sketch. He's got to run a cleaner program. And I think, if anything, it's just reactionary by Michigan. They know something's coming down. They're just trying to get ahead of it. It's ridiculous. Now, the other thing I kind of want to touch on is the Johnny Manziel Netflix documentary. Now, a lot of people watched it. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't, whatever. I actually think it's ridiculous that these two guys, Manziel and his buddy there, were able to freaking pull the wool over the NCAA. Basically, over that operation. Basically just sign deals and cash checks the whole time. I mean, supposedly the NCAA is top-notch investigation. I think they need to do a little bit better job investigating. And also for Manziel, I mean, for him, I think it was really nicely done. Netflix is definitely on like a winning streak with documentaries. The Woodstocks last year, the obviously the Manziel, the Palace at the Mouse, the Mouse at the Palace, Palace at the Mouse, Mouse at the Palace. Whatever way you want to write it or say it. Whoops. And in the swamp which is coming out, all been great documentaries. So thumbs up for Netflix. They're doing a good job. You're getting your $19.95 or $14.95 or whatever you're paying. All right. Now we're gonna come to our second dope of the day segment. A second dope of the day segment involves Iowa State running back, Jahari Black, and the basketball team manager, Evan Schuster. Well, these guys got busted gambling on games, and they both go to Iowa State. More from Ohio State get busted gambling. Anyway, I mean, the basketball team manager, he's dope of the day for getting caught. He used his freaking dad's, name to open up a FanDuel account. And he bet like $15,000 worth of cash on these games. And he got suspended for the year. I mean, is that really a good, good actions of a team manager for a basketball team? At least keep that stuff on the DL. I mean, Jesus Christ. And what if he bet against Iowa State? Like, what happens if he was just like, oh, hey, I need to cover, and then, some wonk hits a 3-pointer, and then, he loses his bet, and he's like, hey, can I get a towel? He'd be like, hey, go fuck yourself, kid. It's not good. The running back, I mean, Iowa State was, 4-8 last year. I think he should have been concentrated more on winning games than freaking gambling. I mean, I hope he won some money. You know what I mean? But that's life, folks. And that's the way we roll. And I'm already 2 minutes behind. Man, 25-minute show. It's tough these days. All right. NFL news and fantasy talk. Like, we touched on what the Colts are doing, but let's talk about the Redskins, folks, for a minute. Why are the Redskins freaking celebrate preseason wins like it's, freaking Mardi Gras? I just don't understand. I mean, I'm out here freaking busting my hump, and you're going to work, and the Redskins are too. But if they win a game, it's like freaking, it's like the bigger preseason game. It's like the biggest thing since Elvis sighting. They need to stay focused and get in the game. I never understood. I mean, these guys were like carrying their coach off the field one time when they beat the Pats in preseason football. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Gotta need a winning attitude. Zay Flowers in Baltimore last night scored a 26-yard touchdown. I'll tell you right now, I don't even care. I mean, hopefully the Minifan League knows. They know this. I love BC. This kid's gonna he's gonna be something. You should stash him on your freaking, what was it? You should stash him on your fantasy team because he's that effing good. I mean, look, he had Phil Chikovic and Anthony Brown, throw into him, and he still produced those numbers. I got a little news flash for you. Those guys ain't freaking playing on Sunday. I mean, Jakovic, if you're watching this, what's up for freaking, the COVID 2020 year? It's fun to watch at my house. Good times. But other than that, I appreciate it, but I don't think you're making it to the NFL. It's just my 2 cents. I mean, and let's celebrate the NFL Red Zone coming to DirecTV, so we don't have to watch their freaking sham of a freaking network, or excuse for Red Zone. Thank God for freaking Scott Hansen. I'll be honest with you, because the NFL, Red Zone for DirecTV, their little channel or whatever the hell they want to call it. I mean, it was an absolute fucking disgrace. The fact that, and trust me, I sat through that and, gritted my teeth and whatever. I mean, it was awful. I mean, I basically had to, take over, the click of myself and run my own Red Zone, which, after, about 19 weeks, I finally got a hold of, although 3 of those weeks would have been playoffs. So what are you going to do? But, and as for the Colts, which we started at the top of the show, I just don't get what they're doing. Look, I understand. Like, Jonathan Taylor, he might be asking for the moon. Like, but, Anthony, the quarterback, Anthony Richardson, needs to, like, he needs a running back. I mean, he needs someone to take the pressure off him. And it's like, you're the Colts. Like, you're not exactly attracting, like, top talent every year. And, and the other thing, too, is, like, I don't really get why they didn't start him the second game. But, they trotted him out against, like, the Philadelphia defense in the joint practice today, which is a fucking real genius move. I mean, like, the Eagles defense is insane, number one. Number two, they got into a fight, which is, good times. There goes Jalen Carter, had to be restrained. I mean, I'm glad he's bringing the, intensity to fucking, joint practice, And it's probably going to be, one of the first Eagles this year who's going to owe his whole paycheck until the NFL for fines before he even, like, plays an actual game, which is quite an accomplishment, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a future consideration for dope of the day, wonk of the week, but it's here we are, It's where we are in life. What was it? Let's talk about the MVPs, The MVPs, I think it goes without saying is that the Maui rescue workers are definitely the MVPs. I mean, what happened there is awful. And, they're busting their ass. And, they definitely deserve a shout out to the MVPs, and they're doing a great job. And it's horrific if what's happened over there. But, shout out to them. Shout out to freaking, Bone and Bread and Pizza Project food trucks. Keeping Robbie V fed when he goes to Vitamin C Brewery in Weymouth. It's just up the street from me. The local places, I highly suggest you check it out. It's a good time. And shout out to Liverpool yesterday for winning. That's a good MVP performance. They won. I hit my parlay. I was very happy about that. The people love it. I mean, the people in Weymouth love it, and the people of Burlington, Vermont. I mean, they don't give a damn. Whatever. Forget those people. And another MVP. And I will say too. I do suggest that if you do see the Bone and Bread food truck around Boston, the chicken 65 sandwich or the brewery burger. It's a great burger. You should check it out. And Pizza Project Pizza is awesome. They're over on the Charles River Speedway. Are they sponsors of the show? Absolutely not. But you know what? They're keeping my waistline big, and I appreciate them for all the good food that they do, and everything else, All right. Now we're going to move on to, good old general news. Wonks of the week and a preview of next week. All right, so general news, mortgage rates are an all-time high. It's terrible. The people hate it, Obviously, you can't, it's tough to buy a home, I don't know what the Fed's going to do. I'm not going to spend 15 hours on this either because this isn't Stock Talk Live, So I hope the interest rates go down. I don't foresee that happening. Unfortunate news today that, I feel like I need to bring the viewers. Joe Biden finally visited freaking Maui. Yeah, 2 weeks after the wildfires happened, he spent about 5 hours there, and then he left. It's quite not the best look, obviously, and as Twitter and everyone captured. many of the people in Maui, rightfully so, were not enthused by his appearance. A lot of them voiced out with dropping some F bombs, some middle fingers. Probably maybe had a few cocktails, maybe spreading that along. Also, for a guy who loves climate change, a 27 car brigade is a little much, but hey, what do you know? What are you gonna do? I'm just Robbie V. And I drive my Toyota RAV4. And by the way, I'm not a good driver. I just want to let you know. If you see my red RAV4 coming, just get out of the way. I need a little extra space. I'm not a good driver. That's your one factoid about Robbie V that you found out. What are you gonna do? We're all good at some things and not others. I'm a great bowler, but I suck at driving. Hey, I'm not perfect. Let's talk about the hurricane that hit California. Hurricane Hillary. Caused a lot of damage, definitely in Baja. A little overhyped for Florida. For California, can't get my name straight tonight. But what are you gonna do? It was a little overhyped. Dropped a bunch of rain. Definitely was a major inconvenience. I feel like the media overhyped it though. I just think sometimes they see these things out in the ocean and they're like, oh, it's a Cat 5. Well, hey, bro, you're going over. Hurricanes lose 50% of their power once they go over 70, get within 75 miles inland. So, I think a little bit of responsible reporting would have been a little bit better by the news outlets. And I'll be keeping them honest, just in case any of them are watching. What are you gonna do? I'm also happy VD is okay. And there was an earthquake in California. I mean, what the fuck? How much can one state take? It's just fucking ridiculous. All right. Now, finally, the long and awaited, the wonks of the week. All right. I thought long and hard about these wonks of the week. So first, we're gonna go to the great state of Rhode Island. Where a Rhode Island beachfront property owner was arrested. For basically, according to Boston.com, of course, for basically, being vulgar and assault on a beach umbrella. So, I guess it was the part of the beach the guy, was public, and he had a home by that, private public beach borderline. He just didn't like him, so he started heckling him. And then went over and started, being a moron, and figuring, I guess, broke us a beach umbrella, which, and he got charged with vandalism and disorderly conduct. Perfectly normal when, some poor chap is just, sitting there on the beach, just trying to enjoy his day. I just don't understand. So basically, this guy is dope, wonk of the week. Have better things to do than to harass poor beachgoers who just want to suck up some rays and use the ocean. Especially if it's just bordering your private beach. Stop being a male Karen and grow up. What Robbie V is telling you to grow up, you got issues. You got problems in life. And finally, a freaking wonk of the week is a guy who, sat next down to me, Victoria, and I had vitamin C. So basically, I had Victoria by myself. I went and had took a, vitamin C brewery. We had some bone. I had a bone and bread chicken, chicken 65 sandwich in a beer. And then, freaking Victoria, had some of my sandwich and a French fries. And everything was fine. We had our own table. She was up in the high chair. It was all good. And then some buffoon sat down who must have been paid by the amount of times he said the F-bomb and how many times that he said, fucking this and fucking that. I mean, dude, unless he was he must have been getting like $5 an F-bomb. I mean, the foul language next to a 21-month-old, baby girl, it's not appreciated, nor was it a good move. This guy obviously lacks, human common decency, decent vocabulary, and overall is a wonk. I wish this man, and he was there with a date. I have no idea what the date saw with this man. She might have been on some substances. I have no bleeping clue. But you know what? That's life, folks. Robbie V and Victoria just roll with the punches because that's what you got to do. All right. So preview for next week's show. We're going to preview week 1 college football games. We're going to preview the NFL. We'll talk about my fantasy draft. We'll talk about the results of my lock of the week. Did I make the people some money? Did I not? And also hit the local news stories, across all the Minifan Nation. All right. Well, this is Robbie V. signing off and wishing you a good night. The end.
That was the funniest fucking show I've ever listened to.